Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are all enjoying your day. Today, we're going to be looking at your next winter storm forecast, which is going to be tracking through parts of the southwest and into parts of the central and northern United States. And that will include parts of the central plains through parts of the Midwest and Great Lakes and into parts of the northeast, spreading some snowfall. And of course, down in the southeast, you're going to be experiencing some pretty heavy rainfall. If you do live, especially if you live in the eastern Texas through parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, even stretching there into Kentucky and Virginia, you will have some pretty heavy downpours, and we'll definitely be going over that during this video. And at the end of the video, I will be including my personal snowfall and rainfall forecast, so make sure you are staying tuned all the way until the end, and that'll give you a good idea of what this storm is going to look like and how it's actually going to play out. And definitely I will update this forecast as we do get closer to this event. So let's start off with the National Weather Service. We have winter storm watches over parts of North Dakota and Minnesota. That is not associated with this system. All of this is associated with this system. Winter storm warnings in the pink over parts of New Mexico, much of New Mexico actually, and through parts of southern Colorado and into parts just surrounding that winter storm warned area over parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, and into parts of Arizona. You do have some winter weather advisories as well as some winter storm watches in effect for parts of Texas and New Mexico, which will probably be upgraded to some winter storm warnings, and probably for Texas down to some winter weather advisories, flood watches, and flood warnings there for parts of the southeast. And you already have those up and posted because you are going to have an extra 3 to 5 inches of rain and even 5 to 8 plus inches of rain in some areas. So that is definitely a lot of rain that's going to be falling throughout the next couple of days. And then also over parts of California through Nevada and Arizona, you do actually have some wind advisories. But for the rest of the country, not a lot going on. Now, here's your current surface analysis map here from the Weather Prediction Center. You see we have this low pressure setup in southern parts of Arizona, and you have this long line of low pressure systems just dotted across here in parts of the south central United States, and you have this large cold front stretching from the Canadian border all the way in the northeast and down through into Texas. So temperatures on the southern side of this about 10-20 degrees warmer than they are on the northern side of this. You have all this cold air that's bottled up here in northern Canada, and after this system goes through, it's going to be able to unleash all this cold air. So all that cold air that you see bottled up there into parts of northern Canada, this is also going to be unleashed as you get as this system continues to move out, and you get this low pressure system to move south. That is going to allow this cold air to move into parts of the United States and really be our first Arctic attack that we've seen pretty much the entire season. So let's get into your simulated radar here from the European model. You see we do have more of those flooding rains over parts of the southeast, and those are going to look to line up again. Now this is just one model. The European and the GFS pretty much agreeing on the same thing, so not really too much discrepancy between the models. Now, as we continue this, you start to see snowfall over parts of the southern Rockies, and you start to see this front edge of the sprain move through parts of the eastern United States. Now, we are also going to get this resurgence, so this reforming of this system, and that'll be your first preliminary band of rain for the southeast. You're going to get another band come in as you get into your Wednesday morning. Snow still for the panhandle of Texas and New Mexico. That's why you have winter storm warnings and advisories in those areas. And now it starts to move through western Oklahoma and southern Kansas with some snowfall, and then rain starts to move up on the southern side. You're getting this warm, moist air to move through, and that's also allowing all these very heavy thunderstorms, potentially, maybe a severe threat with this, especially as you get into Wednesday and Thursday, enhanced severe threat over parts of the southeast here. And then we also see some snow start to break out on the northern side of this into parts of the Midwest, Great Lakes, and getting into parts of the Northeast, but mainly going to stay as a northern New England type system, and also moving down through the Great Lakes and into parts of the Midwest as well. Seeing some pretty heavy rainfall in those valleys. You could see a little bit of icing as you get into your Thursday morning, and then departs as you get into later on the day on Friday. It's departing already. So let's look at your snowfall totals from the European model, and you see this is going throughout the next 84 hours, so this would be through Thursday night, basically, when the system is wrapping up. And this does not include lake effect snowfall that you're going to have on the backside of this. So if you do live in those lake effect areas, definitely know that you will have some lake effect bands that will definitely receive more snowfall. But you see, we have this good, nice area of snowfall here in the southwest, and then this really nice strip of snowfall here that's just stretching from parts of Kansas through parts of the Great Lakes and into parts of the interior northeast, where you are going to be expecting probably 6 to 12 inches according to the European model. And the GFS model also shows this, but it shows it in different areas. This is what the GFS model shows, and you see the GFS more scattered around, but both of these models have it over the interior northeast. So that's something that we definitely have to pick up. One of the trends is that you've been seeing a lot of snowfall for this area in the interior northeast, and definitely it's going to be reflected in my snowfall forecast that I do put out, which you'll see at the end of this video in just a couple of minutes. So something I want to show you is this is your total rainfall out of this event, because it is quite extraordinary how much rain you are going to see over parts of the southeast. You're going to be seeing another 3 to 5 inches widespread, and some areas, according to this model, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, easternmost Texas, you look to be really the bullseye of this precipitation. Of course, this little narrow line is going to move north, south, east, west, but the big thing is it's going to be generally in the same area. And if you look at, here's your total amount of rainfall that you've seen this entire month, basically the past 30 days. So this is going all the way back until January 11th, and you see in these pinks you're seeing about 10 plus inches. So you see the same area that's going to be receiving, I'll go back here, the same area that's going to be receiving, according to this model, another 5 to 6 inches has already seen 10 to 11, 12 inches. And if we look at the departure from normal here, and you see in these blues, that's over 4, 5, 6, 7 inches above your normal. So you have very saturated grounds, and it's very easy to flood in these areas by this point because you have already had those very saturated grounds. It's been a very wet start to the year if you do live in the southeast and south central United States, where you've just been plummeted with all this really heavy precipitation that's just been moving through your area. So definitely another flood threat as we get later into this week and into the middle and latter portion of this week. So let's get into my forecast here now. This is going to include storm track, snowfall, and rainfall accumulations here, and it'll give you a good idea of what this storm is going to set up like. So this is your storm track. Your storm system currently set up somewhere around here. You have this broad low pressure system that's kind of stretched really like this. We'll just put your low pressure system right in the middle of that area. It's going to really start off your main low pressure system still in southern Arizona, but in just a couple of hours, it's going to move through into southern Texas here, through Mexico and into southern Texas. You're going to have this storm that's going to move through right around this high pressure that you have off the shore of Florida here, and that's why your system's moving very far to the north and west, and it's going to be moving, and it's going to bring some snowfall on the northwestern side of this, as most of these winter storms do. So here's your mountain snow region. This is where it's going to be very hard to pinpoint for every single elevation, but definitely some big cities. Albuquerque is in this, and you're going to be seeing about 2 to 4 inches probably. If you live in the very low elevations, you could see maybe under an inch to maybe an inch or two of accumulation. But as soon as you get higher in elevation, it looks to get maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of snowfall. So definitely the possibility is there for 6 plus inches of snowfall as you get into those just a couple thousand feet up in the mountains. But definitely it's very hard for me to pinpoint exact amount of snowfall for you guys. So definitely check out your National Weather Service. Most of them have snowfall forecast up for for your area. So you can go check that out, and they do it pinpointed for every single little area in that National Weather Service forecast zone. So definitely a very good idea if you do go to the National Weather Service page. They'll give you a very good idea of what the storm is going to look like as far as your snowfall. So here's where you're expecting under an inch of snowfall. Really just a light coating or dusting if you just live in this first shade of lightest blue and very light blue. And this is going to be stretching from parts of southern and western Texas through into parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, through Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and then through Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, even a little bit there in Massachusetts, and into parts of New Hampshire and Maine, where you are going to be expecting at least a coating or a dusting of snowfall. Now, we have a 1 to 3 inch layer here, and this can be for parts of Texas and potentially creeping it there into Oklahoma. We'll definitely have to see there, but we definitely have another area where you're definitely going to see 1 to 3 inches here over parts of Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, through Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and into the interior northeast. Really, again, northwest of this storm track where you have the most energy with the system, you are going to be seeing some pretty good snowfall rates and potentially some banding that could set up. So we'll have to see. Potentially, some areas could receive 6, 7, 8, 9 inches of snowfall. So definitely we'll have to see with that. But that's more of one of those things that you can't really forecast. A longer range is going to be one of those things you just have to be checking out your radar to see how this system really plays out. 3 to 6 inches here over parts of northern New England, through northern upstate New York, northernmost parts of Pennsylvania, and through northernmost Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, and into southern Michigan, where you are expecting at least 3 inches and the potential for up to 6 inches. And a couple of these areas could definitely read 6 or 7, 8 inches potentially. Really, where that band sets up and exactly where the storm sets up is going to be really a big definer in how much snowfall you actually receive out of this event. We have a 6 to 12 inch area, and again, I said it was going to be reflected on my snowfall forecast that these amounts usually move to the north and west, and most of the time, northern New England and northern upstate New York, at least this season, with the pattern that we've been in, has been seeing the most snowfall out of this. So I'm putting you guys in a 6 to 12 inch area, mainly 8 to 9 inches, but if you do get a little bit of elevation, you could see 10, 11, 12 inches, maybe even over a foot of snowfall. So we'll definitely have to see, especially once you get that lake effect snowfall to move in through parts of the lake effect regions. You could get a little bit more snowfall than is anticipated on this map. Now, here's your rainfall. We have under an inch of rainfall here expected over the south central and southeastern United States and moving through parts of the coastal northeast, all expecting under an inch of rainfall. So really, that's any amount of precipitation. But as you get into this 1 to 2 inch area, it's a little bit more heavy and steady rainfall over the south central and southeast, where I am expecting you to get 1 to 2 inches of rainfall here. Now, we even have a 2 to 3 inch area, and again, that's over that really saturated ground in parts of the southeast, where you are expecting 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, so a minimum of 2 inches here, and we even have a 3 to 5 inch area, and this is a pretty big, widespread area of 3 to 5 inches, moving through easternmost parts of Texas, through northern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and through westernmost North Carolina, southern Tennessee, and southernmost Arkansas, all seeing 3 to 5 inches of rainfall, and definitely the threat is there for 5 to 8 inches, where I do point out isolated 5 to 8 plus inches of snow or rainfall here over parts of the mainly I would put the bullseye right over central and northern parts of Mississippi and Alabama, as well as northern parts of Louisiana and southernmost Arkansas have the best shot of seeing 5 or more inches of rainfall here over parts of the southeast. So definitely a big threat here, and definitely I will be updating this map as we do get closer to this event, and do expect another update on the system as we get later on this week, and probably by tomorrow I'll have an updated forecast on this event. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap the video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video when I do upload, because I do make these videos daily. Anyways, guys, that was Eli Lothar, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.